It's day 2 of Karen's Christmas movie marathon, and today we're talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh my goodness.
We're talking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from the year 1964. That is before I was born, Karen.
Yeah.
That makes this a
Are you
very,
sure?
yes, makes this a very, very old movie. Directed by Larry Riemer, I think is how you pronounce the name. R-O-E-M-E-R, Romer.
Might be Romer.
Raymer. It was written by Romeo Mueller, and it was, of course, adapted from the famous Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song by a guy named Johnny Marks. It's starring Burl Ives and some other people. Do you know anybody? Like, do you recognize any of the names, the voices?
No,
Anybody besides Burl
Ives is the only
Ives?
one. He was Frosty, right, at the beginning?
Yeah, he wasn't Frosty, he's just the snowman.
Well,
the
yeah,
narrator.
I mean, well, it's supposed to be Frosty, I think.
Maybe that's why I always thought that Burl Ives was the Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street, is because he's such a Christmas icon from this movie.
Yeah.
But beyond Burl Ives, I don't know that any of the names have held up to the test of time, at least not in our household. It was
a Rankins and Bass, right? Was it a Rankins
Rankin
and
Bass?
Yeah.
Yes, it was Rankin Bass, though it was not directed by Rankin Bass.
No,
some
but
of
I
their later
recognized
movies
those
were.
names when the credits were the pre-credits were showing. So
Made for a budget of $500,000, $500,000 in 1964 for a TV movie. That's notable, and also this special is long enough that it took up an hour of TV time, whereas a lot of these TV Christmas specials were only a half-hour spot.
Yeah.
So this might be part of why that budget's a little bit higher than what we'll see on some of these other TV specials
I
from
think
the
it was
era.
closer to about I think it said 44 minutes when I was watching it.
That sounds about right.
It has the commercial spliced in the middle. So.
And of course, there's no box office for this, but I'm sure it has made a bajillion dollars.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Think of how many advertising dollars have been spent on episodes or viewings or showings or whatever you want to call it of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Like selling the VHS tapes and later on the DVD tapes and all of the other things based around the commercial things. There's also a theatrical show. There's a kids musical of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, and it's just called Rudolph, but it's all the same storyline, same music.
Didn't we do a local production of that one?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
well,
I was involved in that too.
This is the part of the show where I tell everybody that there are going to be spoilers going forward. So if through some miracle of growing up under a rock, you have never heard the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because the song tells you how the movie ends, right? So anyway, you don't want to be spoiled for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, then just go away. Just go. We don't need, or stay. As always, I'm not your dad. Now, Care Bear, are you ready for a synopsis unlike any you've ever heard for this particular movie?
Sure.
Because they're not going to pay 10 grand for something anybody could do. I have to give them the $10,000 synopsis. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. A differently abled reindeer proves that diversity is a good thing.
Differently abled. That's interesting wording, I guess. But, I mean.
That's a different ability, the nose.
Yeah.
Here's my first question for you. Just going on into this after the synopsis. As a child, I always thought having a red nose would be a good thing, because it's like a superpower. I mean, it glows. It's almost like he could be an X-Man. Okay. Like, did the X-Men recruit unguents? Is that what you call the things with the cloven hooves or whatever? What, antelope? Can antelope join the X-Men?
No.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to ask you how you first discovered. Can anybody remember how they discovered Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
I'm absolutely sure I saw it as a child. Probably on broadcast television because I grew
Yes.
up in my grandmother's house and we watched all of these old things. I mean, the 80s, that's just what we did. Like they played it
Yeah.
every year, but also we were the family that taped, like recorded TV shows on VHS, as they were happening. So then we could watch them all year long. So, I mean, we had our some piracy things going on right there, but it was made for television stuff. So it wasn't like we were doing anything bad, but we wanted to be able to watch it all the time.
Weren't doing
And that
anything
might have been
super bad.
Yeah, and that might have been pre like VHS stuff too, because we had all the commercials in there. It's not like we showed all of our friends. We just watched it at our home whenever we wanted to, like all winter long when we had snow days and stuff. So
My favorite thing about the Christmas season when I was growing up, when I was a kid, especially in those elementary school years, were these specials. It seemed like almost every night there was a different special on in the week leading up to Christmas. And I can still remember like CBS in particular, like the whole thing that would go across the screen when it was going to be a special presentation instead of your regularly scheduled show. I loved all of that kind of thing. I would get so excited. I can still go on YouTube and just watch like the 10-second clip of that special presentation thing that they would show and get a little dopamine rush.
yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely discovered this on broadcast TV. I can really remember, especially around Christmas, like when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Because my parents had split up. I had moved to a whole new state. I had left behind Mamaw Judy and Aunt Susan and Aunt Jenny. And I have a pretty good, nice family support unit on my dad's side of the family. And then I went over and I was living with Granny. So, it was a whole lot of adversity for me.
Yeah.
And then these things would come on and it was like comfort, something familiar, something I know, something that would take me to a magical place called the North Pole where I could be on that island of misfit toys, which, a lot of kids, I think, relate to the whole misfit message that's in this, wouldn't you say? Well, is Santa too skinny in this? Because Mrs. Claus says
In
nobody
the
wants a
beginning.
skinny Santa, and he looks pretty skinny.
Yeah, I guess he takes like a vacation, like, from eating throughout the year. But what's so funny about this movie is I remember you would quote that all the time. You'd just say, "Eat, Papa, eat." Like, I remember.
Eat, Papa, eat.
Yeah,
I
like
love
when
that line.
when I'd make dinner or something, and I'd tell you need to sit down and eat. You'd always say that. So I
This movie
remember
is a big
more
part of my childhood.
Yeah, I remember more of you saying that than it actually being in the movie, and you just walking around saying, "Eat, Papa, eat."
I love having a positive impact on our pop culture interpretation here in our household. It's what I live for, isn't it?
I think the kids, I feel like I've heard Sophia or one of the boys, quote that because they heard you say that and not necessarily knew where it came from,
One thing that always strikes me about this movie, every time I watch it, a year goes by and this is a detail I forget, and then Christmas season rolls around. I forget just how mean characters are in this movie. Even Santa's really kind of mean to Rudolph in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning he is.
And like the coach, is that Comet? Who's the coach of the reindeer? He's kind of mean to everybody.
Yeah.
But
I think the head elf is probably the worst, where he's
Hermes.
busted at Herbie's. Yeah, is it Hermie or Herbie?
It's Hermie apostrophe S. Like I say Hermes, but it's not Hermes. It's Hermie, but his boss would be Hermes' boss. So it gets confusing because it sounds like Hermes.
Yeah. I think I thought his name was Herbie, but I guess it's not Herbie. It's
with
Hermie.
an M when I looked it up.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's,
I'm sorry. That's the only reason I know.
Well, I knew it was her something.
And I would think a dentist is a great aspiration for an elf. They got tiny hands so they can get way back there on your molars. They're using a lot of the same instruments that, some elves make shoes. Not all elves make toys. Some make cookies.
I think it speaks to society, though, as to what this head elf was trying to do. Was like, no, you're going to keep doing what the family tradition is. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to stick with this and not be somebody else or be something else. you were born an elf, you're going to be an elf. You were born, to work in the Santa's workshop, and you're just going to stay there, and nobody else is going to do what they want to do. They're going to be.
Now, here's a funny idea, and it's pretty obvious, so maybe somebody else has already thought of it. Maybe somebody's already made a little animation. But imagine it's like the whole elf thing, but instead of Hermie, it's like the head elf is talking to Legolas because he doesn't want to make toys. He wants to be an adventurer.
Yeah.
Would you like to see Legolas in the North
yeah.
Pole making all his toys with bows and arrows?
Right.
Well, can we talk a little bit about Yukon Cornelius? He's always been probably my favorite, well, maybe my favorite character from this.
Yeah.
I just like his personality. He's kind of gregarious. He befriends the Bumble. He just sort of shows up out of the blue and takes charge and then disappears and then
Yep.
comes right back.
Yep.
How do you feel about Yukon Cornelius and his very stylish facial hair?
I love it. I think it kind of looks like yours too. Just the way it curls out. I think I've told you I really wanted you to do your hair like that too, your mustache. I don't know. I really enjoyed him for his comedic, his lightheartedness.
I'm a sucker for a good prospector, but since we're dealing with the Yukon, I kind of wish they'd made him like from Quebec or something, give him a little French accent or something like that. That'd be kind of fun, but he's still fun.
Yeah.
And he's still our only normal human in the whole thing, unless you can. Santa Claus is magical. He's not a normal human. So
you don't really picture someone from the Yukon though having a French accent. I don't see the prospector having a French accent. I've had more of a burly, very masculine.
In my mind, I'm conflating the stereotype of the French trappers in the Pacific Northwest, but I guess they weren't prospectors. You're right. Maybe somebody like Stinky Pete.
Yeah, yeah.
Stinky Pete instead of Yukon Cornelius.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Island of Misfit Toys? I feel like that is really where the charm of this movie lies, and I feel like that's what draws so many people to it. I don't know if I've ever met a person alive who hasn't felt like a misfit at least a little bit, and if they haven't, I don't think I trust them. So what do you think about the Island of Misfit Toys?
I don't like how they call them misfit, because they're not really misfit. They're just something might be a little bit wrong with them, but they're still good toys. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of Toy Story.
I got a couple of problems that some of these toys don't need to be there.
Yeah. Like Jack in the Box, his name, just because his name was Charlie, he didn't want to be Jack. Nobody wants a Charlie in the box, but there was nothing wrong with him.
And I'll tell you what else. Anybody can go down to the courthouse and for $30 get a legal name change.
Yeah.
So why didn't Charlie just change his name to Jack or just a nickname as Jack?
He said his name was not Jack. His name was Charlie.
Well, the kids don't have to know that, Charlie. Sorry, Charlie. If he was a tuna fish, that'd be good.
Maybe that's probably
And the squirt gun that shoots jelly.
Yeah.
That's a user error. Yeah. That is not the squirt gun's fault. Squirt guns don't put their own water in.
Yeah.
So somebody took because jelly's not an easy thing to put in a squirt gun either. So whoever did that had to have malicious intent to ruin this squirt gun's prospects as a Christmas toy.
Yeah.
And then,
I agree. A lot of those toys weren't, you'd think that they were there, they should have been there because they were broken. Or there was something really wrong with them, but I don't think.
Like the little baby doll, she should have been a haunted doll like Annabelle. That would have been great if Annabelle
Somebody
was
would
on
have
Island of
loved
Misfit
her.
Toys.
Sometimes those kids don't care.
Oh, imagine the horror movie Island of Misfit Toys. You got some of the Puppet Master puppets.
I'm sure somebody's made
Chucky.
something like this already.
Oh, you got Annabelle. That'd be great. Yeah, it'd be great. You got this. Isn't there a haunted movie that had a speaking spell that was kind of evil or something? The doll.
That was in Toy Story.
The clown doll from Poltergeist?
Yeah.
That's a spooky one. Were there any parts that tugged at your heartstrings here? Because I think this is a good heartstring tugger.
I definitely think when they're on the island, and at the end when they're welcoming those toys back,
That gets me every time when the toys finally get to be given out at Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
And when Rudolph gets to lead the sleigh, I mean, I kind of knew that was coming because I had heard this song before. But that's, nice that you see that different ability as a plus instead of a minus. And I kind of wonder, we have a certain mindset about childhood development and inclusion and approaching our educational system a whole lot differently than we did in 1960 something when this was made, and definitely differently than when the song was written. So I wonder if this movie's starting to take on like a whole new meaning for causes and things that didn't even really exist when it was made, or at least they didn't have any public awareness when it was made. So that's, I think
this
cool.
may be the start of recognizing that it's okay to be different. That there's nothing wrong with being different, and that we can accept those things for, in people for who they are and what they are. And
a squirt gun that shoots jelly is better than one that shoots urine.
Yeah.
So you can always look at it that way. It could always be worse. I want to talk about some potential influences on this classic cinematic television masterpiece. The first thing I want to ask you about, the king, the lion that's the king in the Island of Misfit Toys, is that a little bit of an homage to Aslan and Narnia? Aslan, what's his name?
Aslan.
Yeah, you know much more about the Chronicles of Narnia than I do. Is that a Narnia homage?
I could see where that could be a Narnia homage, yeah.
Did Aslan have wings?
I don't remember. I mean, I feel like I can picture him with wings, but I don't know. I don't think he did.
And
but maybe he did.
And I can remember all my life too, whenever they say we're going to take you to the king who finds the misfit toys and keeps us here. I was expecting him to be like wicked or a bad guy, but he's actually super chill.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. You got that going for you, right? Were there many? Oh, another thing that's a potential influence. Is this just another retelling of Hamlet? I'm looking for Shakespeare in all these Christmas movies.
I gotta be honest. I don't know the plot of Hamlet. I just know the word and that it's a Shakespeare, but I don't know.
You know the Lion King?
Yes.
That's Hamlet. So a boy gets chased out of the kingdom so his birthright can be stolen, then he comes back to reclaim it. So this is like a young boy gets chased out of the kingdom, and then he comes back and he's at the head of the sleigh.
Oh, yeah, then I guess that sounds right. That sounds good.
What did I say? White Christmas was the taming of the shrew?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stretch pretty far once we get to Frosty. I may give up on this soon. I don't know. I really don't know. But music. Christmas movies and music go together like turkey and dressing at Thanksgiving. Christmas movies and music go together like peanut butter and jelly. And of course, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a movie based on a song. How's the music in this movie?
Oh, wow. I loved it. I mean, it's iconic too.
Burl Ives. You can't beat Burl Ives for a singing voice.
Yep, yep.
Did you have a favorite song?
Probably the Silver and Gold song.
That is
really
an awful
sticks with
good
me too.
That is an awful good one, and there's no bad songs, but I think the one that's always going to sit with me is Holly Jolly Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because Kiss Her Once for Me, that's my favorite part in it. And I
even Rudolph, that the movie's built around, is pretty iconic. I think what I find interesting is, as I've gotten older and moved around to different places, you know how like Rudolph, we add those little things at the end.
Yes.
Had a very shiny nose, like a light bulb, you know, and then
like George Washington.
Yeah. So those things, like, it's different in different locations. Like what we said when I was a kid, where I was from, is not what you said in Kentucky or what the kids say in West Virginia. Like everybody has their own like version of what to add to the end, which I think is really interesting. And I asked the kids, you know, what did you say at the end? Like, you'll go down in history, like I think we said like Columbus.
And I said like George Washington.
Yeah, and then they say something else. Like Columbus is not as popular now as he was,
You'll go
back
down
in
in
the 80s.
history like Justin Bieber.
Yeah, no.
He's an old school character to our
But
kids.
it's regional. I think it's regional, like what you added to the end. Like the games, what do they sing there? Wouldn't let him play reindeer games. I think we said like Monopoly.
We would say like Monopoly.
Yeah, but then I think there were some other things that other
Yeah.
people said. So it was interesting.
Yeah, like Mumbly Peg. Or
Yeah, I don't know. What is that?
quarters.
Cups.
What's that 8-hole card game called? What's the Christmas tie in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Lord. Well, it's definitely not a religious one. It's a very secular, like.
Yes, it is it is a secular Christmas
Secular
classic.
Christmas, yes, because everybody in the world, I guess, can relate to this one. I think
Yes.
everybody knows this story and all the different traditions and stuff around the world. So the Christmas tie is definitely getting to lead the sleigh on the night before Christmas, so Santa can make his deliveries.
It is at the
So
North
that he can
Pole, and Santa is a character, and reindeer are there, and toys are delivered. So,
Yeah.
if that ain't a Christmas tie, I don't know what is.
Right,
How about
right.
you?
I think it would be a pagan Christmas tie, then really, you know what I mean?
Okay, go back to the time of the
I mean,
Druids.
like to the way that Christmas really started, and then it became, a religious thing later. But I think this is more focused on like the commercialization and the background of how Christmas came to be.
Well, building on that, what is a memorable moment that sticks with you from this movie? Do you have one that like just jumps to your head first thing when you think about the Rankin Bass stop motion classic?
The one that really sticks out, I think, is when the dad tried to cover up his nose and it just fell off. I don't know why that one
That's
sticks
pretty
with me
memorable.
more than anything. Like, yeah, the misfit toys, some of the things that were said, the Bumble with his toothache and
Yeah.
me helping him out. I think it's I don't know why this one just sticks in my brain so much about when he just wants to be like everybody else, and then the nose falls off, and everybody's like, oh, and I'm just like, oh my, that's so sad, and even his own parents were like, treating him pretty poorly too. So
I think my most memorable moment is when Yukon Cornelius and the Bumble make their triumphant return to like Santa's grand hall there, and he tells everybody that Bumbles bounce.
yeah,
Oh man, I love that. And I remember one time it snowed and we were at Mamaw Judy's when Silas was maybe 3 or 4 years old. And I took him out, and they have forest and woods up there, and we're walking in the snow, and there's some noise up there from a squirrel or something. And Silas got real worried that a Bumble might be up there.
Oh,
so he
really?
wanted to go inside. So I really like the Bumble. It sticks with me.
yeah.
Do you think there was a best character in this movie? I've already said my favorite's Yukon Cornelius. Who's your favorite character
No,
from
I
this?
think I like the dentist.
he's
There's something
so
about him
good.
that's that draws me to him too, because he's just so. He doesn't care what anybody else says to him. It's like he doesn't get down. He doesn't. I mean, he is kind of sad that they won't let him do what he wants to do, but that doesn't stop him.
Yeah.
He still continues to pursue it, and he's like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to, as long as it takes, to get there, and he does. And so, I think that's what I like, his determination.
Well, I like Yukon Cornelius because he gets a pet Bumble by the
Yeah.
end of this. And if I had a pet Bumble
He's
when
the
I was
funny,
a kid,
comedic
yeah.
character too. I think that's why you like him so
No
much.
bullies would have picked on me as a
Right.
kid if I had a pet Bumble. I got to tell you that. What themes do you see in this movie beyond Christmas? Because any successful Christmas movie is going to say something more than just Merry Christmas.
I think, like we discussed before, like celebrate diversity. People that are that you think may not have a purpose have a purpose, you know, and you just sometimes it takes a minute to discover or figure out what that is. Maybe people need a little more encouragement to do what they want to do.
How about this
Yeah.
one? The world is always changing. So what young people today need to do to prepare for the future isn't the same things we needed to do. And that's kind of what I see there with Hermie, because I'm thinking it's not long before video game systems and a lot of electronic toys are taken over, and then the elves are going to have to find something else to do since they're not building dolls and stuff all day. Maybe Hermie's ahead of the curve. Maybe dental work is where, could you imagine how good they'd be at braces?
Yeah.
An orthodontist? Oh boy.
Well, I want to ask you a question before.
Yes.
Since I'm like the artist and
Yes.
a creative person, and so are you. Like, what did you think about the style of this movie? Like, early stop motion type things. So I feel like we talk a lot about the movie and what it's
Yes.
about, and not so much about how it was made and like the production values of
I
it.
have nothing but like huge admiration for stop motion as a process. I don't really have the patience for it. I saw you do it for that really brief project you worked on, and I knew I didn't have what it takes to do that. But I love Ray Harryhausen. I love the stuff that he did for like Clash of the Titans, the original Clash of the
Yes, I
Titans.
like
He
that
also did the Skeletons and Jason and the Argonauts. I think he did some Sinbad stuff. So I love stop motion. I love the original King Kong.
Yeah.
So I love everything about this. I prefer stop motion to traditional cell animation. I think that all the models look great, but this is such a like early core memory that I think that the style here influenced me as like a reference style. You know what I mean? So I can't even judge it independently because it is its own kind of benchmark.
Right.
How do you feel about it?
I love it. I think, like you said, I have an admiration, but I also have more of an appreciation for it because of the project that I had to do for my class and how long it took and how many photos I had to take in order to get things to be fluid. Now back then, you know, some of these things are still, the characters are still jerky because they're still kind of figuring it out. Plus, I'm not sure if they didn't have the digital stuff that we have now where I could go back and pick and choose. I'm sure they were cutting film and putting it together, you know, to do that. And there had to have been thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of pictures that they had to put in the right order. And it got better though, as you said, Rankin Bass, like as we see the progression in the later years of what they were doing with their stop motion, it got more fluid and got better. But some of these earlier things I think are really interesting to see how they evolve into what they became, you know, 20 years later. And they're still like, they're still classic. The kids still love them. I feel like maybe this kind of maybe have influenced people like Tim Burton,
Oh, absolutely.
like the Coraline movies. You know, I mean, a lot of those, I'm talking about more horror things, but I feel like we don't see a whole lot of that anymore. Shaun the Sheep, Wallace
I
and
love
Gromit.
that. Yeah.
Like some of these, was Rankin Bass, were they American or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like Wallace and Gromit is British. I mean, I
Right.
think they influenced. I don't know if they were the first to do. Were they the first to do stop motion?
I don't know if they were the
movies?
first, but they certainly were the landmark producers
like
of stop
iconic,
motion.
yeah.
I mean, because King Kong was 30 years before Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
And it's stop motion.
But I think we called it like claymation later.
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? So
That's more like the Gumby style.
Yeah. So these characters, if you look at them, they look more like felt.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that maybe had built around like wire and they would bend the parts, but then they moved on like 70s and 80s. I remember the California Raisins were like
They were claymation,
claymation. So like where did that move go? You know,
I don't know.
When did that happen? So I know a lot of now some of these movies that we're gonna be watching, I'm gonna be looking in the background for like specific things and like, you know, I really enjoy this movie because it was just really interesting to see, how it was made. I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. Maybe there's going to be. I would love to see a documentary on Rankin Bass.
There's got to be. I'm gonna have to look and see because there's got to be. We need to watch that. Maybe even talk about it. That'd be fun. Well, it's time to see how the report card's going to turn out. What is your mistletoe grade, which is your grade for Christmas spirit on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Oh, an A+.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't get more Christmas than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
Just, little bit of disclosure about me. I always prefer more secular Santa-based Christmas stuff. Just I always have. I don't know why, but it's just my cup of tea. So I'm with you. A+.
I like both. I like because I grew up in a very religious, household, and so I learned that side. But that didn't stop us for being, doing the secular things too. So I like the combination of both. And we'll talk about that later in the next
Charlie Brown.
the next one. Yeah.
How many boughs of holly are you going to give Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Oh, a 5 for sure.
I don't even do you even have to ask?
No.
I mean, this is
great.
if there's not a 5 holly bough movie out there, it's going to be this one.
Yeah.
So I think that's an agreement from both of us. This is an A+, 5 boughs of holly. You've already seen this, so you already know what you think. But boy, I love talking about it, don't you? And, until next time, Merry Christmas to all, and to all watch a movie.